Welcome students to what you don't see in the brochure. My name is Bo and I'm the manager of Walk on the Beach Hostel in Rio. Well, we're in a mid-sized hostel in Copacabana in Rio, and I'm the owner of the hostel, and I do various other activities in the hostel apart from being the owner. Well, I'm from Denmark. I came here in '99 when there was only 3 hostels in Rio, and since then it's exploded. There are now more than 200 most likely. And I have a master's in economy. Don't really use that for anything, as the economical part of running a hostel here in Rio is actually the least. The more important focus that we have is dealing with our guests in a social way. Well, my daily activities kind of varies a little bit depending on the day of the week and what happens at the hostel. But generally, I'm responsible for the economical part, which I said is a small part, and interacting with guests, making new deals with tours and tour operators, which is very small as well. Anything breaks down, I fix that as well. So kind of do everything that's necessary in the hostel, as it's a small hostel. There are smaller hostels in Rio, but we have 36 beds, which is it's not that big. It's pretty easy to run, but there are hostels that has down to 7 beds. There are hostels that has 140 beds. So it kind of varies. But I think we are small to mid-ranged. Well, the positions we have in the hostel is we have 2 receptionists, a night watch, which in some hostels is a receptionist, but as we are more focused on security, we have a night watch who doesn't do so much receptionist work. And we have a barman, and we have a cleaning staff as well. So basically 5 main functions, and then managing, which is me and my business partner. We have a focus on the social part. As I was a backpacker before we started the hostel 6 years ago, the kind of hostel that I actually liked was the kind of hostel where everybody met up and you could talk to the other guests and everybody got to know each other, which happens in this hostel all the time actually. It's basically you have 36 people. I think if it's more than that, people don't get to know each other. So basically 36 people is a good range of people, and usually everybody gets to know each other. They leave to other destinations together with someone they've never met before but met in the hostel. And for me, it's a satisfaction. A hostel this size you'll never get rich, and anyway our focus is not on money in any way. It's more on actually doing something that you like and getting to know people from all over the world all the time, and new cultures and different ways of thinking. And so that's the most interesting part about the hostel. The worst part, it's actually hard to single out something as the worst part, but of course any kind of problem, and there's several types of problem in a hostel, but nothing reoccurring. So it's kind of 1 week everything is fine, the next week you have some small problems that you need to correct, but there's nothing, no main focus of anything bad, I would say. I think it's for us everything is actually quite nice, so it's a good satisfaction. What's interesting about the tourism industry, I think it varies from country to country, because for example in Brazil you don't make a lot of money working in tourist industry unless you're the owner of a hotel or a really big hostel or chain of hostels. So when you work in a hostel, I would say, and it kind of goes for everybody we've ever hired in the reception, is that the interaction with people from outside of Brazil or Brazilians from other states is actually what gives the satisfaction of choosing a job to work in a hostel. And it goes for cleaning staff and everyone as well. That's the main thing, because you don't make good money in tourism industry in Brazil yet. Well, the difficult part or the least interesting part is probably the working hours, and holidays don't exist. You don't have Christmas, you don't have New Year's. Even though you work with tourism, you don't travel that much because you don't have a lot of days off. So in that sense, you work a lot, but at least you work with something that usually everybody likes. But that would be the negative side to it. All the clients that we reach are I would say in the beginning it was maybe 80 or 90% via internet and maybe 10% on the street. And now I think it's probably 50-50, including we have a lot of walk-ins that come here from other guests that were here. So I think it's 50-50 now. But the main focus of advertising will always be the internet. So especially, well, it might change because now Brazilians are using more hostels. For 2 years ago, you could go here for weekends, there would hardly be any Brazilians. Now every weekend is very full of Brazilians. So this is very good, very positive. I think sustainability in any business should count for a big part, especially looking at the world now. However, you can try to do a lot of positive things, but I think the infrastructure and the government of how things are done, I don't know in other places in Brazil, but in Rio there's a lot of things that could be improved. For example, if you separate garbage, stuff like this, nothing happens. It goes to the same place. So in that sense you can do things, but in the end it doesn't make a difference. But for example, the kind of people we hire for especially cleaning is usually always low income. Usually someone who lives in a favela or close to a favela, which doesn't have a lot of opportunities. So we try to give some instructions of how the person can improve professionally, so you can move on to another job, a better paid job. Because we know our part here is small. We know that we don't pay the best salary, we pay what we can, but as we're small businesses, it's hard to compete. So we actually have a satisfaction of seeing an employee moving on to something better. Maybe not more interesting, but in terms of money, it will be better for the person. So, that's kind of what we can do in a small business like this. Any advice to someone who wants to open a hostel is, first of all, you have to be pretty passionate about it, because in the beginning, unless you have a large sum of money and you can hire your way through everything, then you're okay. Then it's pretty easy said. But if you start with no money and no staff, you have to love it, because you do everything in the beginning. In the beginning I cleaned, I was the barman, I was the receptionist, I was the night watch, I did pretty much everything, me and my business partner. So you have to be very passionate about it, but then and you have to see what kind of business you want to run, because there's different kinds of hostels. There are hostels that don't care about the social part. There's hostels that care about it, like us. There's party hostels, and so it kind of all varies. If you want to start a party hostel, you need a lot of money, because it's a big structure and a lot of employees, etc. But if you want to start a smaller hostel, it's less hard, but in terms of money, but harder in the work you have to put in. We actually had, I think, around 1 week after the World Cup was announced in Brazil and everything, we had 3 emails coming, all from 3 Germans. So I think we'll have a lot of Germans that are probably expecting them to win the World Cup. But so far we don't do any reservations or anything. But yeah, we'll have to make some changes before that.